I'm never gonna own a house.
I used to think like that too, until I had a mentor tell me about 6 years ago to get into real estate, to go buy a home. Just that idea being planted into my mind has changed my entire understanding of real estate and the importance of home ownership. But here's the thing. When he initially told me that, I had no idea what to do next. All the time we hear that buying a home is the American dream, but yet again, it is still not being taught on how to buy a home, the costs associated with it. What does maintaining a home look like? Is a home an asset or is it a liability? Property taxes, HOA, homeowners insurance. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And if you know some of these things, that means mom, dad, maybe a family member educated you on this, and you're essentially the golden child. Because most people experience real estate in this fashion.
We actually have a couple friends that bought houses this year, and I think they have a lot of regret. Like, I think they felt like that was like the next step they needed to do. Both sets of friends were getting married. It just kind of seemed like the natural group of thing. I don't think it was a horrible decision by any means, but I do wonder like how much of it was pressure to like just the need to have to buy a home. Cause then it's like, oh, can you really afford to fix it up? So like, are you going to be house poor? Can you afford furniture? Like, I think that's a lot of things that people were just not really educated about it, like growing up.
So since the school system doesn't want to do the legwork and educate you on real estate, I got you. Overall, give yourself some time to buy a home because this isn't something that you can do in a couple of clicks, especially if it's your first time. Starting with determine what you can afford for your monthly mortgage before anyone else tries to tell you what they're willing to lend you on. Then I want you to go ahead and find a real estate agent and make sure you have a buyer strategy session with them. What's that going to look like? The real estate agent is going to essentially tell you what they're going to do to help you find your new home. And also, this is an opportunity for you to make sure that you even vibe with the person, because if you don't, then honestly, you're just asking yourself for trouble and a recipe for disaster throughout the entire transaction. Once you've done that, now go ahead and get pre-approved and provide the lender with your bank statements, pay stubs, tax returns. And personally, I think finding 3 lenders to start is enough to find a lender that you will enjoy working with. And out of those 3, they can be whoever it is, but sometimes it's always the agent's recommendation, whoever you currently bank with, or maybe an online lender that you came across. At this point, you've received and sent out a ton of documents, but that was really all that was required from you. So you may be concerned at this point in time, well, what down payment am I going to be looking at? And that is all dependent on the loan product that you decide to choose. There's a range from 0 to 10% that typically you'll see individuals put down, maybe even 20% if they have deep pockets and want to go that route. But of course, that is not required in every single scenario. So understand the type of loan product that you have so you can best understand what your down payment is going to be. Now here comes the fun part, or maybe exhausting depending on how many homes you decide to go see, but this is your opportunity to go ahead and go out there and start shopping and looking at homes, whether it's online, but preferably I would say look at them in person so you can see what it's like to live in that home, be in that neighborhood specifically, because once you find that home that fits all of your needs or majority of your needs, that's when you're going to go ahead and make an offer. You're going to begin negotiating. You're going to sign executed contracts, because once all of that is said and done, now you're under your due diligence phase, which is when you're really going to take place and do all of your inspections. If you want to skip this step, you are free to do so, but it is not recommended on my part. You're hearing that from a whole nother video. I at least recommend doing the bare minimum, which is at least get your home inspection. That way you can get that report back and get a clear understanding, or maybe not, I shouldn't say clear, but an idea of what's going on with that home. And so if you do need to take it a step further, which taking it a step further would be maybe the roof is going bad, right? And you want to get that inspected. Maybe the HVAC is going bad and you want to get that inspected. Maybe the plumbing is not so good, or maybe the foundation isn't good, or last but not least, the electrical, right? Those are 5 big components of the home that you're really going to want to make sure that they are all checked off, or you're dotting your I's, crossing your T's in those sort of circumstances. Because in the due diligence phase, that is honestly your last opportunity to negotiate with the seller before everything is just your problem. The next stage is the underwriting and the appraisal, which is not going to be so much of your concern. It's more going to be the lender's concern. But this is when I say, at least from your end, provide those documents that are asked from the lender or even the agent, just so you can prevent any delays that may occur. Because once you receive your appraisal and you are in the clear, meaning that the lender is willing to lend you whatever amount of money that you need to purchase that home, then that's when I would say go ahead and start getting your utilities in place, your homeowner's insurance in place. That means now you're on your way, you're coasting to closing, and you're just hoping that nothing changes between your circumstances or the seller's circumstances, because there's still, some time in between then that can take place. But let's just say everything goes well, right? You're going to go either to, depending on the state that you're doing real estate in, you're either going to go to an attorney's office or a title's office to sign all of those documentations, those paperwork that's required. And this is essentially the place where you're also going to make sure you pay your closing costs, which generally speaking, I like to say look between 2 to 5% of that offer price, that purchase price of that home that you're looking at, and what you can expect as your closing costs. But buying a home is way more than what I just mentioned, because you may find while searching for your home, you're going to come across HOA communities, property taxes, flood zones, maybe even climate issues. In fact, I actually have a story here that I can share with you specifically about HOA communities. I had a client before that literally found a home. They were like, love it, they want to move forward with it. Unfortunately, they could not qualify for it because of how high those HOA fees were. So be on alert for that. Thankfully, we alerted and we spoke to the lender prior to making any offer, or else that would have been a pure disaster. But everything is going to vary by location, so be sure that you understand what's going on in that area that you're looking at, because the way that insurance companies are just dropping policies like flies, it's almost like now you really have to be extremely cautious on where you purchase a home, because if you're buying a home with a mortgage, you're going to need insurance on that. There's no way in heck you're going to have a home with no insurance on it. That's just, the lender's not going to even allow it. In fact, you can even listen to the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell speak on housing and the insurance company.
Quickly note that we don't regulate or supervise insurance companies for the most part, but we're seeing the same thing, which is both banks and insurance companies are pulling out of areas, coastal areas and things like that, or areas where there are a lot of fires. So what that is going to mean is that, if you fast forward 10 or 15 years, there are going to be regions of the country where you can't get a mortgage. There won't be ATMs. There won't, the banks won't have branches and things like that.
And if you don't know how to look for these things to avoid being disappointed or even blindsided while searching for your home, I'm connected to literally thousands of real estate agents across the entire United States. So if you need help in your local area in purchasing a home, just be sure to click the link in the description below and complete the entire referral form. That way I can reach out to you and get a better sense of what you need help with, so we can pair you up with the best real estate agent. But if you insist on navigating yourself through buying a home, you may want to check out portal sites like the obvious one, Zillow.com, Realtor.com, Homes.com, or you can even take it a step further and look at agent-specific websites, which I actually have one in the description below where you can go ahead and check out homes across the entire United States. Just out of curiosity though, let me know in the comments below, what apps, what websites do you guys find to be the best for searching for homes? At some point in time, you may find that the real estate market gets extremely crazy or even complicated, so you're going to need every advantage that you can get. So if you're dealing with multiple offers in your area, for one, everyone moves extremely fast, so be ready for that. But also, what I generally see is larger deposits and also shorter contingency. So that phrase that I talked about, inspections, your due diligence time, that is generally a little shorter. In fact, sometimes it's none, which is pretty crazy to me. But do as you please, depending on how bad you really need that home. But also, if you are working with the real estate agent, I would highly recommend that you make sure that that real estate agent speaks to the listing agent or maybe the seller to get a better sense of what's going on over there on that side, to see, is it even worth you structuring your offer or putting time into doing that, or should you just continue to move on? And of course, if you're not working with the real estate agent, then that's just something you're going to have to do yourself. But something I almost forgot to mention, which is a quick tip, please, if you're going to make a major purchase, open up another credit line, dump a massive amount of money into your bank account, don't do it. Don't make any changes to your circumstances once bit. Wait till afterwards. And if you must make a major big purchase, speak with your lender before doing so, because yes, you do any one of those things which mess your credit up, open up a credit line, buy a car, buy furniture, or make a big deposit in your bank account, you're going to start raising flags and the lender is going to start asking questions, and you may have just messed up your home purchase. Otherwise, don't forget, I'm here to connect you to the best real estate agents in your local area. So if you do need assistance, just be sure to click the link in the description below, fill out the entire referral form. That way I can get in touch with you and we can pair you up with the best real estate agent. However, let me know in the comments below by simply saying yes or no if you are educated enough now on how to buy a home. But just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and remember, I got your back.